Do you feel like your own body is betraying you in your most private moments? Has the silence after a failed attempt become heavier than the years themselves, a crushing weight that settles in the room long after the lights are out? You might think this is just a conversation about sex, a personal frustration to be buried and ignored. But I am here to tell you that it is not. This is a medical alert about your health, your heart, and the very essence of your manhood. It's a warning sign your body is sending that you absolutely cannot afford to dismiss any longer, because what starts in the bedroom rarely stays there. The truth is that fading spark is a signal of a much deeper fire that is at risk of going out completely. I'm Dr. Fischer, and for over 2 decades in my clinical practice, I have sat across from incredible men who built businesses, raised families, and served their country, who felt like they were losing the final battle against time. They came to me with a quiet resignation, having bought into the devastating lie that their vitality, their virility, and their very sense of self simply have an expiration date. They believed that losing their erection was just a part of getting older, an unavoidable toll of the years. Today, I am here to shatter that myth. I am going to share the biological truth and the scientific evidence that your best years are not behind you, and that the engine of your manhood is not broken, it's just waiting for the right key to restart it. The problem often begins with a single, isolating incident. One night, things don't work as they used to. That single failure plants a seed of doubt, which quickly grows into performance anxiety. The next time, the fear of failing again makes it almost impossible to succeed, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of disappointment. This downward spiral is devastating. It leads men to avoid intimacy altogether, creating a painful distance from the person they love most. It hollows out a man's confidence, making him feel irritable, invisible, and like less of a man. This isn't just about losing an erection. It's about losing a fundamental part of your identity, the powerful feeling of being a man who is strong, capable, and truly alive in his own skin. But the consequences go far beyond the bedroom and your own self-esteem. Medically, we view erectile dysfunction as the, quote, canary in the coal mine. It is often the very first warning sign of hidden, more serious cardiovascular problems. The arteries that supply blood for an erection are some of the smallest and most sensitive in your body. When they begin to clog or lose their flexibility, it's a critical message that the larger arteries leading to your heart and brain could be next. Think of it this way. Your body's check engine light is flashing, and it's located in the most personal part of your life. Ignoring this signal isn't just risking your vitality, you could be risking your life itself. Let me tell you about a man I'll call Robert. At 72, he was a widower who had built a life of quiet routine after his wife passed away. His days were filled with simple things: gardening, reading the paper, meeting friends for coffee. He had accepted that the chapter of his life involving intimacy and romance was firmly closed, a treasured memory, but nothing more. He felt a deep loneliness at times, a silent echo in a house that was once full of life, but he believed this was simply his reality now. He had resigned himself to it, convinced that the fire of his manhood had long since burned down to cold ash, a natural consequence of age and loss that he just had to live with. Then, something unexpected happened. He met a woman, another widow, at a community event. There was a connection, a shared humor, and for the first time in years, Robert felt a flicker of something he thought was gone forever. It was a spark of hope, a gentle warmth that started to spread through him. They began spending time together, and as their bond grew, so did that quiet, hopeful feeling. The thought of being close to someone again was both thrilling and terrifying. He felt a sense of being truly alive, a forgotten part of his identity stirring from a long slumber, wondering if maybe, just maybe, that chapter of his life wasn't over after all. The night they decided to become intimate, a wave of pressure washed over Robert. In that vulnerable moment, all his fears and insecurities came rushing to the surface. The years of inactivity, the belief that he was past his prime, the sheer terror of failing, it all converged and his body simply froze. It refused to cooperate. The desire was there in his heart, but the physical response was absent. The silence that followed was deafening, filled with a shame so profound it felt like a physical weight crushing his chest. He felt like a complete and utter fraud, a hollow shell of the man he once was, unable to express the affection he felt. In the aftermath of that single moment, Robert felt a humiliation deeper than any he had ever known. He was certain he had disappointed this wonderful woman and, even worse, had confirmed his own deepest fear, that he was no longer a complete man. The feeling of inadequacy was overwhelming. He wanted to apologize, to explain, but the words wouldn't come. How could he articulate that this failure wasn't about a lack of desire for her, but a profound sense of failure in himself? The incident reawakened his grief, not just for his late wife, but for the loss of his own virility, his own sense of power and competence in the world. That one night of failure sent Robert retreating back into his shell, ready to give up on love and connection for good. He was convinced it was a clear sign from the universe that his time was done, that he should stay in his lane and accept a life of quiet solitude. This is a story I've heard countless times in my practice. A single event becomes a devastating verdict on a man's entire identity. But Robert's problem wasn't a moral failing or a final judgment. It was a biological issue, a system that had gone into shutdown from disuse, and one that absolutely could be restarted. His engine hadn't broken, it had simply been left idle for too long. Now consider David, a 65-year-old man who has been in a loving, long-term marriage for over 40 years. For them, intimacy had once been a vibrant, central part of their connection. But over the last decade, it had slowly faded. The passionate flame had dwindled into a comfortable, predictable routine, and then, even that began to feel like a chore. The shift was so gradual that they never really talked about it, it just became the new normal. David felt the change profoundly. The confident ease he once had in the bedroom was replaced by a gnawing anxiety, a constant worry about whether he would be able to perform, turning what should be a moment of connection into a stressful test. An unspoken tension began to grow in their home. David noticed the subtle shifts in his wife's behavior, a gentle touch that he would pull away from, a lingering look that he would avoid. He interpreted her attempts at connection as pressure, and he started to worry constantly that she thought he no longer desired her. The truth was, he desired her more than ever, but the shame of his body's unpredictability was creating a chasm between them. He felt trapped in a cycle of fear. The fear of failure made him anxious, and the anxiety made failure almost certain. The bedroom, once a sanctuary, now felt like a courtroom where his manhood was on trial every single night. Internally, David was fighting a lonely battle. He was drowning in a sea of shame, feeling like he was letting his wife down, betraying the passionate man he had always been for her. This wasn't just about sex. It was about his identity as her husband, her partner, her lover. He felt like he was becoming a roommate instead of a romantic partner, and the thought was devastating. He couldn't bring himself to talk about it, because saying the words out loud would make the failure feel even more real. So he suffered in silence, his frustration and irritability growing, casting a shadow over other parts of their life together. To cope, David developed a series of avoidance tactics. He would stay up late watching television, waiting until he was sure his wife was asleep before coming to bed. He would complain of being exhausted from work or having a sore back, creating a shield of excuses to protect himself from the possibility of another disappointing attempt. Each excuse was a small lie that chipped away at their intimacy and his own self-respect. He was actively pushing away the one person he wanted to be closest to, all to avoid facing the reality that his body was no longer responding the way it used to, and he had no idea why or what to do about it. This slow erosion of his physical function had a devastating impact on his core identity. David began to feel exactly like the stereotypes he'd always dreaded: old, over the hill, and washed up. He was a man who had always taken pride in his strength and capability, but now he felt powerless in the most personal area of his life. This feeling of being less of a man didn't stay in the bedroom. It followed him throughout his day, affecting his confidence at work and his interactions with others. Like Robert, David's experience is not a personal failure. It is the human side of a biological system in distress, a system we can absolutely understand and reactivate. These stories of Robert and David are not just emotional anecdotes. They are the real-world symptoms of a biological process, a silent shutdown happening inside the body. To truly understand how to fix this, we need to stop looking at it as a personal failing and start looking at it like a master mechanic would look at a high-performance engine. We need to lift the hood and see what's really going on with the fuel, the plumbing, and the ignition. Because once you understand how the system works, you gain the power to get it running smoothly again, restoring not just function, but the dignity and confidence that come with it. Think of your male vitality as a powerful engine. For that engine to run with horsepower and vigor, it needs a specific kind of high-octane fuel. That fuel is testosterone. It is the primary hormone that powers everything we associate with masculinity. Your sex drive, your energy levels, your muscle mass, your mental focus, and your competitive spirit. When your testosterone levels are optimal, your engine hums. You feel sharp, driven, and capable. You feel that unmistakable sense of power and aliveness that is central to a man's identity. It is the biological source of your inner fire. Testosterone is far more than just a sex hormone. It's the foundation of a man's overall well-being. It helps regulate your mood, preventing the irritability and low-grade depression that so many men experience as they age. It's crucial for maintaining bone density and building lean muscle, which keeps your metabolism burning hot and prevents the accumulation of stubborn belly fat. It provides the mental clarity and decisiveness that allow you to navigate the world with confidence. When your testosterone is low, it's not just your erections that suffer. Your entire experience of life becomes duller, more difficult, and less vibrant. The world starts to feel like it's in black and white instead of brilliant color. It's true that testosterone levels naturally decline as we age, but this is only part of the story. Our modern lifestyle has created a perfect storm that dramatically accelerates this decline. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol, a hormone that is a direct antagonist to testosterone production. A diet high in processed foods and sugar disrupts hormonal balance. A lack of deep, restorative sleep is perhaps the biggest culprit of all, as your body produces the majority of its testosterone while you are in your deepest sleep cycles. These factors combine to effectively drain the fuel tank far faster than nature ever intended. When the fuel level in your engine gets too low, the engine begins to sputter. You experience that persistent fatigue that coffee can't fix. You lose your motivation for things you once enjoyed. That competitive edge you once had feels blunted, replaced by a sense of apathy. And in the bedroom, the most sensitive gauge of your engine's health, your libido wanes, and your erections become weaker and less reliable. Your body isn't broken. It is simply running on empty. The internal fire that powers your virility is being starved of its essential fuel, slowly turning from a roaring flame into dying embers. But here is the most important message I can give you. This is not a permanent condition. This is not a life sentence. Your engine is not broken beyond repair. It has simply been neglected. It is waiting for you to make a conscious decision to start refueling it. You have the power to change the habits that are draining your tank and adopt new ones that will fill it back up. We can naturally and safely encourage your body to start producing more of its own testosterone, restoring that powerful fuel source and bringing your male engine roaring back to life with all its original horsepower. Now let's talk about the plumbing. Even with a full tank of fuel, if the fuel lines are clogged, the engine won't perform. In the male body, an erection is fundamentally a plumbing event. It is all about blood flow. Your arteries are the pipes that carry oxygen-rich blood to the erectile tissues. And for an erection to be firm and lasting, those pipes must be wide open, clear, and flexible. When your brain sends the signal of arousal, this intricate network of pipes needs to be able to handle a powerful surge of blood flow instantly and efficiently. It is a marvel of biological engineering. This is where the canary in the coal mine concept becomes critically important. The arteries in your penis are some of the smallest and most delicate in your entire body. Because of their size, they are often the very first place that systemic circulatory problems, like atherosclerosis or hardening of the arteries, will show up. If these tiny pipes are becoming clogged or losing their flexibility, it is a flashing red warning light. that the larger, more critical pipes leading to your heart and your brain are likely in the same condition. Your erectile health is a direct reflection of your cardiovascular health. The hero of this circulatory story is a tiny molecule called nitric oxide. Its discovery and role in the body were so significant that it earned a Nobel Prize in medicine. Think of nitric oxide as the master controller of your plumbing system. When it is released into your bloodstream, it sends a powerful signal to the smooth muscle walls of your arteries, telling them to relax and open up. This dilation dramatically increases blood flow, allowing the erectile tissues to become fully engorged. Without sufficient nitric oxide, your pipes remain narrow and constricted, and a powerful erection becomes physically impossible. Unfortunately, just like with testosterone, our body's ability to produce nitric oxide declines significantly as we age. This decline is accelerated by the same lifestyle culprits: a poor diet, lack of exercise, smoking, and high blood pressure. These factors create inflammation and damage the delicate lining of our arteries, known as the endothelium, which is where nitric oxide is produced. As the endothelium becomes damaged, your body's ability to generate this crucial molecule plummets, and your pipes become progressively stiffer and narrower, unable to respond when you need them most. The direct result of this plumbing problem is a weak, inconsistent, or non-existent erection. You might find that you can achieve some level of erection, but it isn't firm enough for intercourse, or it fades away too quickly. This isn't a reflection of your desire or your manhood. It is a simple matter of hydraulics. The pressure in the system is too low because the pipes cannot open wide enough to allow for the necessary volume of blood flow. It is a mechanical issue, not a personal one. It is a problem of flow, and it's a problem we can solve. The wonderful news is that we have a tremendous amount of control over our body's nitric oxide production. We can take specific, actionable steps every single day to clear out those pipes and encourage our body to create more of this vital molecule. Through simple changes in diet, targeted exercise, and specific nutrients, we can improve the health of our arterial lining and restore the natural flexibility and responsiveness of our entire circulatory system. We can, in effect, become our own master plumbers, ensuring the system is clean, clear, and ready to perform on demand. So we have fuel in the engine and the pipes are clear, but there's one more critical component: the spark. Without a spark, even the best engine will never turn over. In the human body, that spark of desire begins in the brain. It is the ignition switch for the entire system. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your level of stress all play a decisive role in whether that initial signal for arousal is ever sent. You can have perfect hormones and perfect circulation, but if the brain doesn't provide the spark, nothing will happen. Your virility is intimately connected to your mental state. The key neurotransmitter responsible for this spark is dopamine. Often called the motivation molecule, dopamine is released in your brain when you anticipate something pleasurable. It is what creates the feeling of wanting, of craving, of desire. When you see, hear, or think about something that you find arousing, your brain releases a surge of dopamine that acts as the start signal, telling your nervous system to kick the entire erectile process into gear. A healthy dopamine system is what makes you actively seek out and enjoy intimacy, providing the essential mental energy for physical passion. This is precisely why performance anxiety is so devastatingly effective at sabotaging an erection. When your mind is filled with worry, fear, and self-doubt, your brain is flooded with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals are the mortal enemies of the arousal process. They effectively shut down the dopamine system and put your body into a fight-or-flight state. Your brain is so preoccupied with the perceived threat of failure that it cannot send the clear, powerful signals of desire. The ignition switch is jammed by anxiety, and the engine simply will not start. This brain-body connection is the reason why simply taking a pill is often an incomplete and unsatisfying solution for so many men. A pill can help improve the mechanical function of the plumbing by increasing blood flow, but it does absolutely nothing to create the initial spark of desire in the brain. If you are not genuinely aroused, if your mind is not engaged, the experience can feel artificial and disconnected. To achieve true, natural, and passionate intimacy, we must address the entire system, and that starts with reigniting the spark in the mind. Finally, we must understand a fundamental biological principle, the use it or lose it system. The delicate tissues of the penis, the corpora cavernosa, are composed of smooth muscle and sponge-like structures. Just like any other tissue in your body, they require a regular supply of fresh, oxygenated blood to remain healthy, flexible, and responsive. The primary way these tissues receive this vital nourishment is through erections themselves. Each erection is, in essence, a workout that stretches, flexes, and floods the tissue with life-giving oxygen. Without this regular exercise, the system begins to decline. The smooth muscle tissue can slowly begin to atrophy and be replaced by less flexible connective tissue, a process called fibrosis. This makes the tissue less able to expand and hold blood, making future erections progressively more difficult to achieve and maintain. The nocturnal erections most men experience during deep sleep are nature's automatic maintenance program, ensuring the system gets its work out even when you're not consciously aware of it. A decline in these is a sign the system is becoming dormant. Now that we have diagnosed the problem from every angle, the fuel, the pipes, the spark, and the need for maintenance, it is time to move from diagnosis to action. We are not victims of this process. We are active participants who can change the outcome. I am going to lay out a simple, practical, 4-step plan that I call the reactivation system. This isn't about a magic pill or a complicated procedure. It is a system of daily habits designed to address each component of your male engine, restoring its function naturally and putting you back in the driver's seat of your own vitality. Our first step is to refuel the engine. We must signal to your body that it needs to ramp up its own natural testosterone production. One of the most powerful ways to do this is through resistance training. This doesn't mean you need to become a bodybuilder. Simple exercises using your own body weight, like push-ups and squats, or lifting moderately heavy weights for a few repetitions, sends a primal signal to your endocrine system that your body needs to be strong and powerful. This demand triggers the release of more testosterone. Next in refueling your engine is prioritizing sleep. This is non-negotiable. Our culture often treats sleep as a luxury, but for male hormonal health, it is an absolute necessity. During the deep stages of sleep, your body goes into repair mode, and this is when your pituitary gland signals the testes to produce the majority of your daily testosterone. Consistently getting 7 to 8 hours of quality, uninterrupted sleep is one of the most effective actions you can take to boost your levels. Think of it as your nightly refueling appointment. Finally, we must provide the raw materials. Your body can't make testosterone out of thin air. It needs specific nutrients as building blocks. Two of the most critical are zinc and vitamin D. Zinc is essential for the chemical process that converts other hormones into testosterone, and many men are deficient. Vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin, actually functions as a hormone in the body and has been shown in numerous studies to be directly correlated with healthy testosterone levels. Ensuring you have adequate levels of these nutrients through diet or supplementation is like making sure your engine has the highest quality motor oil. Step 2 is to clear the pipes by boosting your body's production of nitric oxide. The simplest and most accessible way to begin is by walking. A brisk 30-minute walk each day does wonders for your entire cardiovascular system. It strengthens your heart, improves circulation, and stimulates the lining of your arteries to produce more nitric oxide. It's a foundational habit that tells your entire body you are ready to be active and vital. It gets the blood moving everywhere, including where it matters most for your erections. We can also clear the pipes from the inside out with our diet. Certain foods are absolute superstars when it comes to boosting nitric oxide. Leafy greens like spinach and arugula, and root vegetables like beets, are packed with natural nitrates. When you eat them, your body converts these nitrates directly into nitric oxide, helping to relax and dilate your blood vessels. Adding a handful of spinach to a smoothie or a side of beets to your dinner is a simple, powerful dietary hack for better blood flow and firmer erections. For an extra boost, certain supplements have been clinically studied and shown to support the body's nitric oxide pathways. Amino acids like L-citrulline and L-arginine are direct precursors that your body uses to manufacture this crucial molecule. They act as the raw materials for your internal nitric oxide factory. Adding a quality supplement can provide your body with an abundant supply of these building blocks, helping to ensure your plumbing system is running at peak efficiency and can respond with powerful flow whenever you need it to. Step 3 is to ignite the spark. This is about managing your mind to create the right conditions for desire to flourish. The most important action here is to actively manage your stress. Simple practices like taking 5 minutes for deep belly breathing when you feel anxious can calm your nervous system and lower cortisol levels. By consciously shifting out of a fight or flight state and into a rest and digest state, you create the mental space for dopamine to work its magic and for feelings of arousal to emerge naturally, free from the crushing weight of anxiety. A crucial part of igniting the spark is to reintroduce eroticism and sensuality into your relationship, completely separate from the pressure of intercourse. The goal is to rediscover intimacy through touch, connection, and shared pleasure without an agenda. This might mean giving each other massages, taking a bath together, or simply talking openly about your desires and fantasies. When you remove the pressure of performance, you free your brain to simply enjoy the moment, which naturally boosts dopamine and reignites that essential spark of genuine desire. Our final step, step 4, is establishing a maintenance routine. Now that we are getting the engine running again, we must keep it tuned up. This is where the use it or lose it principle comes into play as a proactive strategy. Regular self-stimulation is a vital health practice for men over 60. It is not something to be ashamed of. It is a way to ensure the erectile tissues are regularly getting the oxygen-rich blood flow they need to stay healthy, flexible, and responsive. It is a form of physical therapy for your most vital function. Think of your morning erections as a daily health report card. When they start to return consistently, it is one of the most powerful and encouraging signs you can get. It is your body's way of telling you that the entire system is coming back online. The fuel tank is being filled, the pipes are clearing up, and the ignition system is firing correctly. The return of this natural function is more than just a physical event. It's a profound restoration of confidence, a daily reminder that you are a vital, functioning man, and a sign that your hard work is paying off. This isn't about trying to turn back the clock and be 20 years old again. This is about something far more important. It's about being a whole, vital, and dignified man at 60, 70, 80, and beyond. It's about honoring the man you are today by refusing to accept a diminished life. Your virility isn't trapped in your past. It is waiting to be reclaimed by the choices you make starting right now. Rebuilding your erection isn't just a physical act. It is a profound declaration. It is the proof you give to yourself that you are still strong, you are still capable, and you are still fully in the game of life, ready to live every chapter with power and passion. Remember the stories of Robert and David. Their struggles were not the end of their story, but a turning point. By understanding the system, the fuel, the pipes, and the spark, they were able to rewrite their future. You can do the same. This journey is about restoring your confidence from the inside out. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing a man who is in control of his body, his health, and his destiny. It's about replacing the quiet anxiety in your relationship with a renewed spark of intimacy and connection. This is your chance to reclaim that unmistakable feeling of being truly alive, to feel that inner fire burn brightly once again, fueling not just your body but your very spirit. If this message has hit home for you, the most important thing to know is that you are not going through this alone. For too long, men have been expected to suffer these challenges in silence, trapped by a sense of shame and isolation. But that ends today. Here, in this community, we are building a movement. We are creating a brotherhood of men who refuse to settle, who refuse to believe the lie that their best years are behind them, and who are committed to taking back control of their health, their vitality, and their manhood. This is a place where we share knowledge, strength, and the conviction that it is never too late to restart your engine. So if you are ready to take that first step, I want you to make a commitment to yourself and to the men alongside you. Type "I'm ready" in the comments below to declare that you are joining this movement. By doing so, you join a brotherhood of men who refuse to give up. Then, subscribe to this channel and share this video with a friend, a brother, or any man in your life who needs to hear this truth. We are stronger together, and our voices can shatter the silence and the stigma. It is time for men to take back control of our health and our manhood.